himself says, "It is my favorite. So Pete does." Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. We're having a little story time. And we're reading Heather the Totality by Matthew Weiner. And one of the things I really like about the cover of this book is this image and text effect that the graphic designer achieved. And we're going to be reimagining this cover, learning something called layer masks. I'm really excited about learning about layer masks and can't wait to see what you guys produce.
So here's a higher resolution version of that image and text effect that we just saw a moment ago. How do we do this? Well, when we jump in Photoshop, we're going to be finding photos that are compelling and beautiful and that maybe look a little something like this or like this. I've found that the fewer the letters in the word, the more powerful the image. So here we've got Andrew's initials. Here we've got eyes, and we're going to do another quick version and create one fairly simply, and instead of eyes, we're going to write soul. So the very first step that you're going to need to do is use the text tool. You're going to want to make sure that the text color is black, although it doesn't really matter as long as it's dark. And we're going to be using the impact font. And instead of eyes, I'm going to write soul. And I'm going to do all capitals. So this is the impact font. The reason that we want to use a font like this is because it's nice and heavy and wide, meaning that your audience will be able to see more of what you're trying to communicate. You can essentially squeeze more in the image. And if we want to sort of warp the image, what we can do is at the top of the screen next to the color box, what we can do is we can select the create warped text. And we've got a couple different options. I'm going to select bulge, and I'm just going to bulge it a little bit. We know that eyes are the window to the soul. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add Addy, and I'm going to drag the text beneath the image. All right. So now what do? I'm going to hold Command and I'm going to click on the thumbnail, and we can see that it creates a selection. It outlines the text itself, right? And it's just like so, but we've got Addy on top. Now what we're going to do is we're going to click on the Addy layer, this image layer, and we're going to create a layer mask, and that's this little icon to the right of the effects button, the layer styles button, and we're going to add a layer mask. Boom, there we go. That's it. But if we want to shift Addy around, what we need to do is we need to unclick this little paper clip that links the image to the layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to uncheck that now, or unclick it, and I'm going to click on Addy's image, and so now I can move it around and I can stretch it, I can make it bigger or smaller, and this looks pretty amazing. What I can see is that this already has a layer style on it from before. It's an outer glow. We can add not just an outer glow if we wanted to add a stroke, for example. So I'm going to click effects, stroke, and because this is light, we'll add a little dark layer style. I'm not loving that. I don't love the stroke. I do love the outer glow. I think that looks pretty cool. All right, so let's do this one more time pretty quickly. Again, the very first thing that we're going to need to do is write our word, and I've got an image in mind, and I'm going to do all capital letters because we're balling today. I'm going to do Command T to increase the size, and I'm going to stretch out the text so it extends to the edge of the face lines. I'm going to press check. Now we've got to find our image, and we've got our image right here. So because this image is really big, I'm going to use the elliptical marquee just to create a selection around it. And I'm going to press Command C. I'm going to return to this button layer. I'm going to press Command V. Okay, I'm going to shift it over here. And I know that the text layer is beneath it. I'm going to hold Command. I'm going to click on that thumbnail. Boom. And I can see the outline perfectly. And I can also see that the corner of this outline extends around the face line. That's fine. Now what we need to do is simply create a layer mask, clicking this little button right there. So we just added it, boom. Now we're going to check that little paper clip. And if I don't switch to the left thumbnail image and I go like this, uh-oh, that's not what we want. That looks kind of cool, but that's not the effect that we're going for. So instead we want to keep ball where it is and click to this photo. And so now we can have something that looks a little bit like this. If we wanted to increase the size or decrease the size, we could do that. That also looks pretty cool too. But, oh, look at Mr. Ray's in the background. I'm going to increase the size. I like it right there. That looks great to me. If we're gonna add a little effects, we can add a little drop shadow. Why not? I'm gonna shift this over, and we want this to be subtle. I like that right there. And then if we wanted to add something else, what could we add? I think we've got this logo. Right click. I'm gonna simply copy the image, pop it right on top. Command V, Command T. I'm gonna decrease the size. Let's try 22. Sure. That looks good. Bottom or top? I'll leave it on top right now. And before we submit it, of course, we've got to write our name in the upper left-hand corner and then hide the face line. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm really excited to see your work. Hope you produce something great.